Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita, rocker, speaker, author, trainer with SoaringHigher.rocks, and I have the privilege of being with you today. And I'm going to be taking information from my Rule of Thumb Small Business Guide to Marketing Yourself for Success, and also my book about shaping your future, become the brand that everyone wants. And so I'm going to be talking today about mastering business etiquette, although this is really mastering etiquette in all areas of your life, personally as well as professionally. But I know this will help a lot with people in the job market, and a lot of times there's a lot of competition nowadays. So communication tips to gain the competitive edge is what I'll be talking about these next two programs. And really, a lot of times we need a competitive edge to compete against others, because there's a lot of people out there. A lot of times I've heard over and over again that a person may be hired more for their attitude, for their personality, for having a cooperative spirit, being engaged in what they're doing, versus someone who maybe has all the technical skills, which can be taught, and maybe all the education, but they lack some of the culture or some of the thoughts and opinions and ideas that would be beneficial to the company, or they just don't have the right demeanor, which I'll talk about today too. So those are very important, because you know, in today's business environment, good sense and everyday manners, which are the habits we form, that includes our everyday manners, can make the difference between getting ahead or being left behind. So all forms of etiquette affect other people, clients, colleagues, suppliers, friends, all forms of etiquette in every relationship that we have, whether it's personally or professionally. So many colleges teach on business ethics, but not on etiquette, which is hugely important. And we see that, I know at least in America, we're lacking a lot of that now with the etiquette, the manners being, have a mindset for treating people fairly. And sometimes it gets into the all about me world, and that's not a way to become successful and to move ahead. And so as objective as we may like to think we all are, we still judge people by how they act, how they speak, how they look, and how they write. And so those are very, very important. You know, our outward appearance and our demeanor, okay, what is our demeanor? It's our outward behaviors, all of our behaviors. It's the way you do you, okay? So our outward appearance, our demeanor, which says everything about us, and our ability to communicate directly affect our on and off the job performance. So I remember one time, a long time ago, I read something about how we can maybe be on good behavior when we're interviewing or when we're meeting a new person that maybe we want to get to know better, whatever the case may be, and we may be on good behavior, but if we haven't established certain habits that are positive, we may go back to old behaviors because the new ones have not been established. We were just doing that to be on good behavior for whatever reason. That could be in dating, that could be on interviewing for a job, that could be trying for a position or being in an organization that, we're really trying to go for it, but it's not been ingrained in us. And this is kind of crude, but it's also kind of funny. Years ago, I read an example of that back in like World War II, I guess it was. And, when people were at a place where there was maybe entertainment or something like that, and a lady would run around in a little outfit going almonds, cigarettes, because she was trying to put on that air of being very dignified in a classy place. But then it said she got so tired towards the end of the evening that she started saying nuts, butts, nuts and butts. And I know it's a little crude, but it's kind of a good, funny example of sometimes if we don't have certain things ingrained in us, how we fall back on behaviors that will turn people off, push them away, lose relationships, friendships, business associates, etc. So we have to be careful with that. So this program is really designed to help be able to give you some tools, some techniques to use, and to go forward and really practice those. because I know that it can make a difference. And I know I've shared before, one time when I worked for the Labor Department many years ago, and my mentor, who I taught modeling classes for and et cetera, had called me one day and she says, "Oh my gosh, you sound so unprofessional." And I was offended at first, but I swallowed my pride and I listened to her and I thought, oh my gosh, she's actually right. I sound very unprofessional when I'm answering the director of unemployment's phone. And so I took it to heart and changed those behaviors. And so sometimes we just do need to swallow our pride if we feel embarrassed or picked on. If it's something that we really should change to become better in our work and our relationships and our demeanor as a whole. And so think about that. You know, business etiquette, there was someone named Francois La Rochefoucauld many years ago who said, to establish ourselves in the world, we have to do everything to appear established. What's established? Appear recognized, hopefully in a good way, and accepted, hopefully in a good way, okay? But to succeed in this world, we do everything we can to appear successful. And a lot of people have, you know, they kind of say the old saying, fake it until you make it. And that doesn't mean being not genuine, but also means we can put on a covering, be professional, we can learn, we can grow, we can watch programs, we can listen to other people and see what they're doing to present themselves in a positive manner. And so maybe, you know, I mean, I know a lot of successful, mostly women who did not have 1 hour of college and own very, very, very successful businesses. One that I went to school with never had 1 hour of college, and yet she became a vice president of one of the really important media groups within one of the largest at the time, national, I think it was even international, advertising agencies. So there again, it's working your way up. You can't say, well, I don't have the education, I don't have the money, I don't have the clothes, etc., because we can work through that, we can work around it. There are some stores that have consignment clothes where you're getting all the best for practically nothing in the designer wear, and I frequent that a lot because it's like, why not? And so think about those things that you can do. You know, presenting yourself with a kind of polish, again, your demeanor, that shows you can be taken seriously. Why can't we be taken seriously sometimes? You know, if the person gets silly and crazy all the time, maybe they're just always jerking on people's shoulders, say, hey, and they're acting kind of crazy. Could be that maybe they lack a lot of self-esteem, and so they're just trying to cover it up. And so people can't be taken seriously if they're not listening, if they're not paying attention, if they're always being negative, they're always criticizing other people. I know one person right now that comes to my mind that's burned just about all bridges because almost everything she says to people or in a group is very negative and it's very critical. And it's like nobody wants to be around her anymore because they're tired of listening to it. So in order to be taken seriously as somebody we want to be around, somebody we want to do business with, somebody we want to have a relationship with, be in an organization with, is someone who's going to have the kind of polished demeanor, mentality to really be ahead in the world. So it's being thoughtful, excuse me, and being considerate. So treating all with respect, courtesy and manners, and appreciation. And so we want to always be able to stand out in that. You know, so many people nowadays don't treat hardly anybody with respect or anything. It's very demanding, very angry. And so you can stand above and stand out by being just the opposite, because that will draw the right kind of people to you. And it will help keep a distance between the people that you don't want to be around anyway because of whatever negative behaviors or attitudes, because that puts so much stress on us when we're constantly being badgered or seeing a lot of things that just aren't pleasant. And so you don't want your cortisol, stress hormones, to be raised a lot just from being around that kind of activity in the first place. So think about that. Who are you being around and what kind of influence are they having on you? So being aware of issues too. I remember going through the women's lib. Women are a lot different. They're holding high positions. Things have changed a lot in that. but we still always have to be respectful, male and female, etc. I'm going to be working with some students at a high school, and what they want me to speak to them on is gender roles and how we treat each other and how we should allow people to treat us and how we should not allow people to treat us. And that's going to be very interesting as I put that together. But we need that. Civil rights, something that the country is still working on, but we have to be aware of, be thoughtful, considerate. Americans with Disabilities Act, globalization of the economy, and just plain old civility. So those are things that, we really need to work on in this world and in this country to stand out and to give back to others. When we give, then we receive what's best for us too in the long run. So again, fair treatment for those with disabilities, all ethnic groups, all backgrounds, all walks of life, and not be judgmental. There's a saying there, but for His grace go I. And so sometimes we might think, oh my gosh, my knees hurt, this or that, and everything else. And yet I'm watching all these programs where, no, what grace really is, like I remember my mom, because she had a really rough life and she had to take the bus to work, even, walking a long way in the snow and all that. And one time she was thinking about, well, gosh, my shoes have holes in them. And then she saw a man get on the bus, or tried to get on with crutches, and he had no feet. And Mom said, wow, that was just a perfect example of there, but for His grace go I. I could be missing legs, arms, be burned to a crisp, because I've seen people like that. There's so many things that, no, we are very blessed. And I've been getting on more of a gratitude mentality. And instead of complaining about the things that I wish were different in my life right now, I'm thinking, God, I can see, I can hear, I can walk, I can talk. I have food in my stomach, I have a roof over my head. There's so many things that we are blessed with that we need to start focusing on. And the more we do that, the more gratitude that we have in our hearts, the more we can extend to other people, and the more blessings that will come to us, and the right kind of people will come to us. And yes, it's harder. I'm an empath, and I feel people's pain, and sometimes that, can get a little sticky, just a little bit hard to deal with, but then we show the love. We do for them what we know we need to help them and build them back up. So again, we think consistent demeanor improves our credibility on all levels, manners, appreciation, gratitude, treating people like guests, especially in the business world, not carelessly making people wait. I know I used to teach, and I still can, dining etiquette programs. And, I've heard people throughout the years say, oh my gosh, we had this great meal plan. Maybe it was a holiday meal or a big celebration and something like that. And so-and-so always shows up late. They were like 20, 30 minutes late. And so by the time they showed up, our food was cold. And I said, no, that's not right. Proper etiquette says you never wait more than 15 minutes for a late person. And if they're going to be late, fine, but you go ahead and eat. Don't let your meal be ruined. And I would even say, if your meal is going to get cold and be ruined after 10 minutes, go ahead and eat. It's their problem. And they can sit down when they get there, and they can just have cold food, or whatever the case may be. So think about that, not making people wait on you. It's like, oh, well, I'll make my grand entrance, a half hour later than I should. Whoopee. No. That's very negative towards what a lot of people are going to think. Not speaking derogatory manner, not interrupting people. When we interrupt, our brain's already thinking what we're going to say next, so are we listening to what they are saying? No, because we're too busy thinking about what we're going to say next. And that is very rude, and a lot of times people will eventually kind of move away from that, because it's like, well, every time I talk to this person, they constantly interrupt with whatever they want to talk about, so obviously they're not listening or they don't care. So that's also very important. Not leaving messes for other people to clean up. I remember when I worked in a law office for a while, wasn't my thing, but they had a full kitchen and they had a dishwasher right by the sink, and yet the attorneys would just throw their dishes in there when all they had to do was open up the door of the dishwasher and put them in. But it's like, oh no, the secretaries will take care of that. Well, there was a lot of feelings of negativity from the legal secretaries, because it's like, I'm not their housekeeper. Why couldn't they just open up the dishwasher drawer and put them in themselves instead of demeaning me to kind of like the maid? And so again, we have to be really careful how we're making other people feel and how we're treating them in the first place. Dressing appropriately for business. Now this unfortunately is a big shot more towards women because of nowadays anything goes. I remember hearing businessmen saying that one lady who was involved in, it was a business networking group, and they were even making negative comments about she looked like she was, just wanting to go out and party and find a man. And she had a very good job, but she was losing the respect of other people. One person said that, who was an attorney, a male attorney, had said that a female attorney, when she was in court, was letting, so much of her top hanging out, her skirt way up to her, thighs and stuff like that. And it said she's losing a lot of credibility and a lot of respect because it doesn't look like she's that serious on winning the case as she is on attracting attention that has no place in the courtroom. And so I've heard that from a lot of people, men and women. And one time I remember I was doing some programs on wardrobe and recruiting, and this young lady came in. She was very highly qualified. She had a lot of skills, and she was wearing a very professional navy blue suit. However, she was wearing like a bustier, not really a blouse. And so they had been very interested in her, but when she came in like that for the final interview, they said no. And she couldn't figure it out. And I told her it's because of how she was giving the impression off that, part of her was conservative, part of it was showing too much of what she shouldn't be showing if she wanted to be taken seriously at her job. And so, we have to think about those things. What's the impression we're giving to other people? Because what's the impression I would have if I saw somebody like that? And when I went in to give some classes for a small business association in the Midlands, and it was a technical college, it's not here anymore, but when I went up to the front desk, this girl had just about all of her top hanging out of her blouse. She didn't say hello. I said, could you tell me where the room is that I need to go to? Because I didn't know which direction it was. She just got up and left, and she was gone over 5 minutes. And so I finally kind of tried to peek around the corner, and then she came back and said, oh, well, you go up this way. And I thought, whoa, never said hello. Looked like she should be hanging out at a sleazy bar, pardon me, but she did. And I thought, what manners? And I thought, what an unprofessional image that this was giving to the entire college by her being the first person that you see. So whether you're answering the phone and you're the first person that they talk to, or you're the first one they see when they come into an office or any kind of business, it's really important, what impression am I giving off, not only about myself, but what impression am I giving off about the company? And you are a brand, I'm a brand, we are a brand. Yes, we can brand a business, brand something, this is my brand, this is what I do, this is how I do it, these are my products, these are my services. However, we are a brand. And what is our brand saying? So think about that. A lot of times I've had to go, whoa, wait a second. I was thinking, what is the energy I'm giving off right now? Because something happened and I'm upset or I'm sad or worried, whatever the case may be. And then I start thinking about what's the energy I'm giving off right now? And it's like, whoa, stop. And you may need to scream in your car, get your frustration out, and then get out of the car, go into the business, do what you need to do. But always, always, always pay attention to the energy that you're giving off. If you're full of angst and anxiety, it's going to show. Some people are sensitive to that and can be kind and caring. Other people are like, whoa, no, I don't want to be around that person. They make me nervous or they're irritating. And it's because of the energy that we're giving off. So energy is everywhere and it makes up everything. So you always want to be careful with that. Honoring people's times and commitments, because again, it is not all about us. Okay, so what are the benefits of etiquette? So I'm going to give some bullet points and then I'll go into it a little bit more. All right, so develop skills that are expected. I mean, if they hire us for any kind of job, whether it's freelance or it's working at a corporation or industrial area, whatever it is, they expect certain qualifications. They expect certain skills. But what about being respected? People who respect us are the ones who want to get to know us better. They want to have us on their team. They will listen to us. They will work with us because they respect us and know that we have only the best in mind for them and their business. So respect is huge. Our country lacks a lot of respect nowadays for just about anybody and anything. And that's something that you can do. You can pull in that respect. You can respect other people, and in turn, they will learn to respect us. Sometimes people have been really kind of a warring nature. They've been hurt, they've been angry, and yet the person they talk to will actually respect them for who they are inside. They can see inside there's somebody in there that they're not showing, and eventually this person can melt down and be healed of what they need to be healed of, and then move forward. So respect is huge. It really is huge. And sometimes I've had to ask God to help me to respect something or somebody in a way that He wants me to do it, not the way I feel like I want to do it. So then enhancing our leadership, our skills, our qualities. High quality attracts high quality. So, if it's a person wanting to meet someone and they keep thinking, why do I keep attracting these same people to me that end up being degrading, negative, selfish, hurtful, whatever the case may be, it's because I'm not living up to the high quality. Maybe I don't feel good enough. Maybe I don't feel valued enough. I don't feel worthy enough. Therefore, I'm drawing the same people in. And it's constant in the mind. Yes, I am high quality. I'm going to act high quality. I'm going to think high quality. My behaviors, my life is going to really reflect that I'm a high quality person. It takes work. It takes a lot of work, but it's certainly well worth totally changing your life for it. So again, high quality attracts high quality. Low quality, low self-esteem will attract the energy from another person who will treat you that way. And so always think about that. Exceptional service. How many of us can say, I'm not getting any exceptional service anywhere? So what are you drawn to in service? Maybe it's in a technical area and you appreciate the time and the interest. Someone at a store is actually showing you how to work a new phone, how to work things on your laptop, whatever the case may be. They're taking the time and they're giving you exceptional service. So if that person charges a little bit more than someone else, but the other person gives poor service, they act like you're annoying them or bothering them just because you needed help, then who are you going to be drawn to? Probably the one you can trust, the one you respect, and the one who shows you that they are in it for you. They care about you. So think about that with even like in the service industry. I can remember a while back, I had to get something notarized, so I went into the bank rather than through the drive-through. And there were two young tellers next to each other, and one was leaning over to the other, and they were just talking away, and I'm standing there like, what? This is a bank. And so we always want to think about that what are the impressions? I thought, gee, what happened to the service in the bank? It's like, went down. So all that differentiates you from the competition, and that's what you want. You want to stand out. You want people to go, hey, I want to do business with him or her because I know that they care, all right? And I know if they're working with my finances, my taxes, anything like that in my business, if they're representing my company, then by all means, I want them to represent me in a very positive way. And so think about differentiating yourself from the competition so you stand out there where people with good qualities, people with good intentions are the ones that you attract, okay? Confidence in a variety of settings with people from all walks of life. I've worked with people from the ages of 7 to 92, all right, all socioeconomic levels and age groups. And we need to take that into consideration. What is their culture? What are their beliefs? How do we show that we care and can relate? Because we can talk to one group of maybe highly educated people where another group maybe didn't get a chance to get much education. They maybe can't think on the same levels. So always watch. Nonverbal signals are the most powerful thing in the world to me, and the energy is watch and see, how are they reacting to me? Do I need to slow down? Do I need to make the language a little bit easier, explain a little bit more because they're looking confused? We always watch. We always pay very close attention to how they're reacting. And then maybe I need to step it up and be more energetic, be more lively, or maybe I'm too lively and I need to tone it down. And I'll talk about that more in a little bit. So think about that. But a lot of that reflects the kind of self-esteem and self-image that we have. So always think about that. What am I showing to other people? And then modifying distractive behaviors, which could be anything from being obnoxious, being loud, being silly. I mean, yeah, we need our times of laughter. But again, think about what are distracting behaviors that people do. I mean, I've seen people like twirl their hair. Distracting behaviors on the phone could be all kinds of noises in the background because they're really not paying attention. So again, we want to exhibit those skills that are expected and respected to gain cooperation. So again, think of how you feel in a restaurant when somebody acts like they're annoyed with you and they don't want to wait on you, or somebody who's really there giving service. Same way with electronics or anything else that it could be. Building leadership, high quality performance for you, also your company, which can reflect back on your personal life as well. And so we want to not risk our image and our relationships that are fundamental to success, or we lose clients, we lose friends. That's all there is to it. So we want to be confident in all settings, all walks of life, whether it's in meetings, sales calls, on the golf course making business arrangements, or dining, which could be dining personally, it could be dining professionally, and that's really when people will watch you. There's a whole bunch of things that people will watch when you're dining in a business situation that will make them determine if they want to actually go forward and have business with you or not, and I will talk about that later. Modifying distracting behaviors, again, whether it's what our face is doing, our expressions, what our body is doing, if we're stiff and we're tight, are we relaxed, are we open, are we closed off? And so think about those things. We want to have admired conduct, okay? And then it differentiates, like I said, from the competition. Rather than a slovenly appearance, annoying habits, we want to be polished, professional in every area, even written conversation. Too many people are texting written business letters, and that's a no-no. And so think of all those things that set you apart, and I will continue on with the next program. Have a super blessed week.